I wasn't a risk manager, I wasn't a GRC consultant, I was a hacker, but I was very intentional about making a true impact for the business. Every failure, even every small win, eventually became a story to tell. I never chased jobs. The closer you move to more expensive problems, the more valuable you are. I built my brand both offline and online that opened doors for me that I didn't even know existed. That personal brand got me my hacker role at Siemens. That personal brand got me my consulting gig at PwC. If you're stuck, undervalued, or wondering how to level up, this is the video I wish someone had made for me. 9 years ago, I was living in a cramped studio apartment, staring at my laptop night after night, wondering if I'd ever make it out of that 40K grind. Rent was tight, bills tighter, and every time I thought about my future, I saw a wall. Fast forward 4 years, I cracked 6 figures. Today, I'm earning over 250K in just base salary alone, leading teams, advising executives, and consulting on billion-dollar cybersecurity decisions. So what changed? In the next few minutes, I will walk you through the exact moves I made to flip the script. How I not only broke into cybersecurity, but in leadership with zero roadmap. The uncomfortable pivots that I took that accelerated my growth. The plays that didn't work and the ones that really did work. And how I went from a burned out coder to a trusted cybersecurity leader without any American Ivy League degree. This isn't a motivational story, it's a roadmap. Hi, I'm Monica, awarded top number 3 CISO in EMEA, board certified cybersecurity leader and executive, and someone who's gone from ground zero to strategy rooms. If you're stuck, undervalued, or wondering how to level up, this is the video I wish someone had made for me. Let's dive in. Let me take you back. I was working as a coder. I was barely making it. I was stuck, working hard, but not moving fast. I had technical skills, but no real leverage. And worst of all, I was invisible to the people who could be opening doors for me. I had zero network, zero community, zero rooms where people would remember my name. Sound familiar? Here's why. Being skilled isn't enough. You have to learn how to build your value with intention and pivot with purpose. For me, that breakthrough came when I realized that being great at tech alone wouldn't get me there. So I started going to meetups in Munich, OWASP meetups to begin with, because they aligned with my goal of becoming a hacker and eventually a leader. I started sharing about my hacking skills, the problems that I had been working on, getting insights from other people. Everyone started noticing my skills, and eventually one of them referred me to my then soon-to-become boss at Siemens. As I landed the hacking gig, here's the biggest, most important thing I did very early on. I focused on risk management and security governance, not just tools or reports. I wasn't a risk manager, I wasn't a GRC consultant, I was a hacker, but I was very intentional about making a true impact for the business. This is back when I didn't even know what a CSO role truly was. I had no idea, no deep insights into the whole world of GRC back then, but I knew if what I did didn't add value to the business, it was half the job done. And I learned that most important way to bring value to business is by understanding what the heck matters to them. So I started doing risk workshops, building my own risk frameworks and communication around it with zero degree or zero certifications or zero formal experience in governance, risk, and compliance. I negotiated my role internally in the sense that in addition to being great at hacking, I volunteered to take on GRC type responsibilities even before I had the title. So every failure, even every small win, eventually became a story to tell, a line on my resume, or a talking point in the interview. Because I wasn't chasing jobs, I was building value. In fact, I never chased jobs. I was referred to, I was invited towards something. I didn't just stop there. Once I had my foot in the door, I didn't stop. I expanded my skill set. These are things that I did on top of that. I got close to business leaders, learned the language of risk, and constantly skilled up without getting lost in certification overload. At the end of the day, when all is said and done, you need to show these 3 things if you want to really level up and accelerate beyond the norm. Number 1, that your security skills are business relevant right now. You need to showcase value in what you're doing and what you're capable of. And you need to be able to position yourself as someone who adds measurable value in a way that can have a measurable impact in the company and for the business. Sure, I got certifications, but when I believed they served the direction I was already heading towards, I was very strategic about it, about when and which ones I got. I didn't just collect certifications, I picked strategic ones at the right time. So when I wanted to get into management role, I chose CISM, not CISA, not any other skill and any other certification. Why? Because that was already helping me, that fit me towards my goal, which is leading teams and managing risk, not just auditing or hacking. When I wanted to become a CISO or a CSO, I actually didn't care much for certifications. Neither did the hiring managers, as much as showcasing to them that I could manage their entire cybersecurity program and move the needle forward for the business. Even before I became a CSO, I accidentally, without even realizing, invested time in learning and, more importantly, doing a couple of things. Sometimes even failing at those things, but eventually succeeding at each and every one of them. So here are the things that I did, that I learned, that I invested in: how to build, get, and manage budget, how to communicate to different stakeholders, how to manage internal and external stakeholders and their expectations, how to run programs, how to manage resources, how to report to business stakeholders and board. But more importantly, I moved from being just a tech gal or just a hacker to their strategic security advisor. For that, you have to understand the business and become business fluent. So right after my hacking gig at Siemens, I became a consultant and was no longer just hacking, but also managing large offensive security projects and IT risk programs for Allianz. I put everything I had learned from my mistakes, from my failures, from my learnings, all into practice, all at once, managing global stakeholders, working directly with global CISOs, eventually moving to PwC, and managing even bigger projects and programs from multiple companies that were merging together. So now, instead of just doing all of that for one company, I was doing that for three companies merging together at the same time. So things like mergers and acquisition, third-party risk, and vendor management all came into the picture on top of the skills I'd already learned. Through all these examples and throughout my journey, here are three things that I leaned into during every pivot in my career that changed drastically what my next role looked like, and eventually took me from being broke in my 20s to more than 250K in just base salary in my 30s. Number one, problem proximity power. What do I mean by that? The closer you move to more expensive problems, the more valuable you are. This is what I call problem proximity power. Position yourself where the stakes are really high. Even as a hacker, early on in my career, I got close to the business, not just security folks. Cybersecurity industry has a big problem. We're so often caught building, growing, and living in our own echo chambers. That echo chamber is preventing you to grow. We don't need to convince each other how important security is. We already know that. And yes, while we do need a tight-knit community and we're a part of that, which is great, but ultimately we're solving problems for the business, for the organization, for the greater mission. So whether you are a security leader or you're working with security leaders, you need to influence not just security, but people outside cybersecurity on why they should give two shits about what you're doing, and more importantly, how you can help them grow their business through cybersecurity. The closer you get to their worst pains, the more impact you will have. The more expensive those pains are, the more leverage you will have and to get what you really want. They worry about fines, they worry about loss in revenue, they worry about reputation. Focus on what they care about, not just what a security best practice guideline is telling you. In each of my leadership roles, I have showcased multiple times to other business leaders and executives and even to the board, not only where and how we managed the enterprise risks through security, but how we built more resilient business, faster business, with better services, with better profit. The more expensive the problem you solve, the more valuable you become. And if you want to negotiate an even higher salary, check out this video on salary negotiation masterclass with my 9-step framework to earn more. By the way, before we go forward, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss strategies that could change your career and your business in AI, cybersecurity, and leadership. Okay, so point 2, build your personal brand. Look, it was never the intention, at least not in the beginning. But over time, I built my brand both offline and online that opened doors for me that I didn't even know existed. And personal brand doesn't just exist on LinkedIn. It exists at meetups, it exists in virtual rooms, it exists in real physical rooms, And most importantly, it exists even when you're not in the room. Because you've built your brand, your value, authority so strong that people talk about you, they refer you, and they socialize you, even when you're not there in your absence. That personal brand got me my hacker role at Siemens. That personal brand got me my consulting gig at PwC. And that personal brand got me my first CSO contract. In fact, that personal brand got me every dream role for most of my career, even when I was not active on LinkedIn. So, for example, as I told you before, before I even got into the official risk management role, I was already hosting risk management workshops internally. In doing that, I was building this brand that showcased that I could help you grow your business through cybersecurity. I didn't wait for permission. I created proof offline and online, and a platform isn't stopping you. It's you that is stopping you. So you need to put yourself in the position to be found. Speak at events, virtual or in person, publish ideas, network with purpose, make hiring managers say, we need someone like you. And none of this is about proving just what you can do. It's also about showcasing what you're already doing. It's about being found. It's about others wanting you, because once people believe they need you, you got all the leverage in the world to not only ask for what you deserve, but negotiate your worth even better. So, I'm running my 1 week, 5-day live accelerator program where I not only show, but help you build a 90-day plan to become top 1% in security leadership. Everything from building the foundations, breaking and expanding in your dream role, bridging the gap, building and implementing your influence in the organization and externally, and becoming visible so you can attract opportunities towards you. If you're interested, check it out at monica.cyber.com/accelerator, link in the description below. Number 3, get strategic with every decision. Look, I didn't get a certification just because I wanted to have a certification. I didn't care about being an auditor, so I didn't ever care about having a CISA. Every cert that I hold was backed by experience and the direction I wanted to go in. I led security management, governance, risk, and compliance before even holding a GRC title, and then got me a CISM on top of that. I led privacy and data protection, and then got me a CIPP on top of that. For me, certification became amplifiers, not crutches. I wasn't waiting for them to make the leap. In fact, I did the opposite. I made the leap by actually doing the work, learning along the way, failing sometimes, and then added extra credibility, which again was backed by the real experience. Every minute that you spend on learning for a certification exam that is not bringing you any value, you're taking away precious time away from actually skilling up or gaining real experience or learning from those that have actually done it, that are steps ahead of you. Because all of that is actually moving you away from your goals, not closer. I know someone who is working in the role of head of cyber defense for a very large organization, someone who's a long list of certifications, but yet has no clue what he's doing because he never spent real time in actually doing and making the effort, making mistakes, learning from their own mistakes, but also others that have done it. The most expensive mistakes are the ones that you make yourself. If you want to reduce the cost of those mistakes, you want to learn from the mistakes that others have done and from those that have actually walked the path that are way ahead of you in the journey. Same is true for resumes and job applications. I don't target 100 jobs and apply to them left, right, and center. At one point, I did. And I realized it was a big mistake. In fact, that's the mistake I had to learn from and fix it so I could get my first CSO contract. So going back to these 3 things, right? 1, coming in close proximity to solving a more expensive problem, building and growing your personal brand, and 3, becoming strategic in every decision that you make in your career. As I was doing all these 3 things with discipline over and over, I became more attractive, more worthy, and went from being broke to earning more than 250K in base salary alone. Because here's the truth that no one's telling you. Every time I reached a ceiling and I wanted to pivot to the next level, past that ceiling, I immediately hit another wall, the wall of catch 22. You can't get the job without the experience, which you can't get without the job. And here's how I broke it. I stopped applying left, right, and center. I stopped spraying and praying. I started attracting. Check out this video where I share my full step-by-step 90-day roadmap on how I broke my catch 22 and got my first official CSO contract and never looked back. So here's the bottom line. Here's the biggest misconception that people have. You don't get a six-figure salary or a cybersecurity leadership role or a dream role in executive level just because you got a long list of certifications or an Ivy League degree or because you think you know a lot. You get paid your worth because you solve a business problem better than others. And the more expensive the problem, the more valuable you become and the more you can earn. To add to that, building your brand gives you the leverage to negotiate and options to choose from. And being strategic about all of that takes you one step closer towards your goal. So if you're not doing it already, here are 5 things that you should be doing right now. Not only just leverage your current job to build real world experience, but learn from the mistake of others, from those that have actually walked the path, that have done it, that have made those mistakes, because you can reduce the cost of your mistakes by doing that. Don't just get certifications, because when you do get them, choose strategically the ones that align with your next role and the direction you're going in. Solve problems that are real pain points and expensive problems for the business, not just because some framework said that you need to do so. Build thought leadership in public, both offline and online. And build your brand to position yourself to be found. So you're not chasing them, but you're attracting them towards you. If you're stuck in a role that you don't like, if you're stuck in a 20-30K tech job that you don't like, and you're moving fast, and you're just wondering if there is more to it, there is. I did it, and so can you. With no American Ivy League degree, with zero network, just relentless focus, strategic decisions on which problems I wanted to solve, and just kept showing up and doing and failing and learning and doing. So if you want to fast track this journey, I'm here to help. Feel free to check out my accelerator program. Again, as I said, 1 week live with me, and I'll help you build your entire 90-day plan to become top 1% in security leadership. Check the link in the description below, follow me on LinkedIn, and drop a comment with what your biggest takeaway is. Your 6-figure cybersecurity future is just a few smart pivots away. This is Monica signing off.